Let me be honest with you for a second. You are exhausted. Not the kind of tired that sleep fixes. The kind of tired that comes from waking up every single morning knowing that if you don't show up, if you don't perform, if you don't grind, then nothing happens. The money stops. The bills keep coming, and you feel completely trapped inside a cycle that nobody taught you how to escape. That feeling right there, that quiet desperation that you carry around but rarely talk about, that is exactly what this video is going to address. And by the time we are done here, you're going to understand something that most people spend their entire lives never figuring out. Here is the reality. The traditional way we have all been taught to make money is fundamentally broken. You trade hours for dollars. You give up your time, your energy, your health, your relationships, and in return, you get just enough to survive until next Monday when you do it all over again. And the cruelest part is that this system is designed to feel normal. It is designed to feel like this is just how life works. But it is not how life has to work. Right now, before we go any further, if you are serious about changing your financial situation, and you want to fast-track what you are about to learn here, we have related programs linked down below in the video description. These programs are not for everyone. In fact, if you are comfortable where you are, they are probably not for you. But if you feel that pull, that deep knowing that there has to be a better way, do not sleep on what is down there. The people who take action on information when it is in front of them are the ones who look back a year from now completely transformed. The ones who say they will get to it later usually never do. Now let's get into it. Think about what your days actually look like. You wake up tired. You check your phone before you even fully open your eyes because something in you is already anxious about what you might have missed. You rush through the morning. You battle traffic or sit through another video call that could have been an email. You work, you produce, you perform, and at the end of the day you come home and you are so depleted that the best version of yourself, the one that wants to exercise, read, create, spend real quality time with the people you love, that version of you gets whatever is left over, which is usually nothing. And here is what makes it even harder. You are smart, you work hard, you do the right things, you show up. And yet somehow it still feels like you are running on a treadmill that keeps speeding up while the finish line stays exactly the same distance away. That is not a personal failure, that is a structural problem. And structural problems require structural solutions. So let's talk about what income without constant daily effort actually means, not in a vague, fluffy, motivational way, in a real, practical, deeply understandable way. Income without constant daily effort means that you build something once and it continues to generate value, and therefore money, without requiring you to be present every single time that value is delivered. This is not a new concept. Wealthy people have understood this for a very long time. The difference is that most people were never taught to think this way. Here is a vivid way to think about it. Imagine a farmer who spends an entire season plowing the soil, planting seeds, nurturing growth. That is intensive, difficult, demanding work. But then the harvest comes, and that farmer gets to eat the results of that one season of effort for months afterward. Now compare that to someone who has to hunt for every single meal every single day. One missed day means going hungry. The farmer has built a system. The hunter is trapped in survival mode. Most people are the hunter, and they have been told that is the only way. The farmer model of income works like this. You identify something valuable. You could create information, a product, a system, a process that helps people solve a real problem. You build that asset one time with genuine effort and real quality. And then you set up the mechanisms that allow that asset to reach people and generate returns on a consistent basis. People who have done this successfully talk about waking up and seeing that revenue came in overnight while they slept. They talk about taking a vacation, a real vacation, where they are not checking emails every 3 hours because they know the system is working. They talk about being present at their kids' school play without that background hum of financial anxiety. These are not fantasy scenarios. These are outcomes that happen when you stop selling your time and start building assets. Now, here is where most people hit a wall, and it is important to address this honestly. The reason most people never make this shift is not because they lack intelligence. It is not because they lack work ethic. It is because they never had a clear path laid out for them. They were handed bits and pieces of information, motivational content that felt good for 48 hours and then faded, strategies without context, tactics without foundation. And they tried something, it did not work immediately, and they concluded that passive income was a myth. It is not a myth, but it does require the right framework applied in the right sequence. Think about the difference between someone who picks up a screwdriver and randomly pokes at a complicated piece of machinery versus someone who has a detailed schematic and knows exactly which component connects to which. Same tools. Completely different outcomes. The people who have successfully built income that does not require them to be constantly present all share one common trait. They invested in structured knowledge early. They did not try to piece it together from 1,000 different sources over 3 years of trial and error. They found a proven path and they walked it with focused intention. The result is that they compressed what might have taken years of struggle into something that happened in a fraction of that time. That is the difference between cost of inaction and return on investment. Every single month that passes where you are still trading all of your time for money is a month that you will never get back. If you are putting in 40 to 60 hours a week and you could eventually replace that with a system that works without your constant presence, then every month of delay is not just lost money. It is lost time, lost freedom, lost experiences that cannot be recovered. People who made the shift early often say the same thing. They wish they had done it sooner, not in a regretful, painful way, but in the way you feel after finally going to the doctor about something you had been putting off and discovering it was fixable the whole time. Here is something that most people get wrong about building income streams that work without daily effort. They think it requires being a tech genius, having a massive audience, having a lot of money to start, or some kind of special talent that only certain people are born with. None of that is true. What it actually requires is the right knowledge, a willingness to do the upfront work with intention, and the patience to let the system do what systems do. Ordinary people with ordinary starting points have built extraordinary financial freedom using these exact principles, not because they were special, but because they stopped waiting for permission and started building. You have been watching this video for a reason. Something in you recognize that what is being talked about here matters. That recognition is not an accident. It is your instincts telling you that the path you are currently on and the life you actually want are not on the same road. The programs we have linked down below in the video description exist for exactly this moment, for the person who is done with the cycle, done with the exhaustion, done with watching time pass while nothing changes. These resources are not for the person who is just casually curious. They are built for the person who is genuinely ready to make a real structural change in how they create income. If that is you, and you know whether it is, go to the description right now and take the next step. Not tomorrow. Right now. Because the most expensive decision you can ever make is choosing comfort over change when change is sitting right in front of you.